People with a severe mental illness. What is your life like? I have borderline personality disorder, which is one of the most heavily stigmatized mental illnesses out there. So try to forget what you know about it for a minute. BPD isn't like depression or bipolar disorder where it's caused by a chemical imbalance in your brain. BPD is more of a set of behaviors that you develop as a result of, usually, trauma in your childhood. So it's basically like, you were in such a bad situation that you had to develop these coping methods, and they kept you alive back then, but now they're causing way more trouble than they're helping, and they're making you, and probably the people around you, really miserable. One of the biggest aspects is a lack of stable identity, because you grow up changing yourself in different situations to whatever personality will make people like you enough to keep you safe. I remember growing up I thought no one knew what teachers meant when they told you to be yourself, but nope. Turns out other people actually know what they like and want enough to have a concept of that. I still have to keep a list on my phone of movies and music and stuff that I like because I don't have any permanent concept in my head of what I enjoy and what I don't. I have to memorize facts about myself like I'm a total stranger. Another big BPD thing is a fear of abandonment. For me, I think that looks more like a fear of rejection. But a lot of people really struggle in romantic relationships and push people away because they're afraid that the other person will leave them if they don't leave first. That's less of a thing for me. I struggle more with an extreme reaction to criticism where I just feel so completely humiliated. Like if I get any negative feedback at work, I immediately want to quit because I'm too embarrassed to face those people ever again, or I just want to unalive myself, which is kind of my default response to most situations. People with BPD have really high suicide rates, and almost half of us at least try to unalive ourselves at some point in our life, with about 10% succeeding. So it's one of the most fatal mental illnesses. My therapist described BPD to me as living with emotional third-degree burns. You have no skin to protect you from anything that happens to you. You're just raw and way sensitive, and even if you know you're overreacting and you do, it doesn't help because it still hurts. That's the best way I can describe what it feels like. Just pain and fear that everyone around you hates you and you're going to end up alone. The public perception of BPD is really hard too. There's this idea that we're all abusers, which of course some of us or some of all people are, but the reality is that the vast majority of us are not abusers, but the vast majority of us were abused. But it's also true that people with untreated BPD have a very hard time treating people fairly because we're so damaged. The good news is that therapy makes a lot of difference. So right now, my life probably looks a lot like yours, because I've been through a ton of specialized therapy to relearn the coping skills I developed that turned into BPD. I learned how to talk to people and how to calm myself down when I'm getting overly emotional. But it's still something that I have to be aware of and manage and talk myself down from. And it's exhausting feeling like I have a child inside me just sobbing and begging to stop hurting all the time. It's frustrating because with a lot of illnesses you can ask for accommodations and people have to give them to you. But the accommodation you need for BPD is just, please be nice to me, and you can't just ask people to be nice to you.